Hello and welcome to the Plaid Sheep Oracle. This is a collective reading. I thought I should do one because we are in the midst of some amazing energies. Today, the day that I record this, August 14th, Mars and Jupiter meet. Their conjunction perfects. Then as we move through the next 7-8 days and actually beyond, there's a whole bunch of strong aspects. Both Mars and then Jupiter are going to square Saturn. Venus will oppose Saturn, create a T-square between Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. When the full moon happens, there will be a second T-square. That is the Sun and Moon and Uranus. There's actually another sort of T-square happening in the cardinal signs because the asteroid Ceres is squaring the nodes. So if you think of the nodes as an opposition, then that's another T-square. So there is a T-square in cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Also, there's going to be a Mercury Kazimi on Sunday when Mercury meets the Sun in Leo, and he will still be there at the time of the full moon. So Mercury will be conjunct the Sun. Also, Vesta will be conjunct the Sun at the time of the full moon. And Pallas Athene will be opposite, not in a tight opposition, several degrees, but opposite Uranus. So that creates this fixed grand cross. So there's always that, and Venus makes an aspect to all of the large outer planets and also Mars. She's going to square Jupiter, oppose Saturn, square Mars, trine Uranus, and then trine Pluto, all before the end of August. And then Mercury turns direct on August 28th. Lots of stuff. And I considered what to do. Did I want to do readings for the different aspects? But that didn't seem really to make sense. It's difficult, to look at things individually when there's all of this stuff happening. And a lot of the effects of this we may not see for months or even years, really. You can sort of look back and think, oh, I see how that played out. And some things are really a long game, where you could go way back and see things shifting and playing out. So a collective reading it is for this time frame. Whatever it is that we here could use, right? What would be good for us to know? What is useful? And what's interesting is that the card that came out is this deep self-respect and this buffalo, bison. Certainly, a word for all of this is change, and perhaps radical change, since Uranus is involved, and Aquarius, which is very forward-looking. And that there is so much energy. Another thing that's happened recently in the last several days is we had a large geomagnetic storm. It started on the 11th and then peaked on the 12th. And it was very strong. The aurora was seen in the United States all the way down to Arizona and below. So that's more energy. There is this inundation time that we're having. And a lot of different traditions. A friend of mine who's been studying the Kabbalah was telling me that last Sunday was a very difficult energy day in the Kabbalist calendar, but that this coming Sunday is very auspicious. So that's a peak as well. There's kind of a peak of temperatures, perhaps. So this deep self-respect is necessary. Is necessary because we're going to need it in order to meet and respond to these energies. Then the other cards, the visible card, is this messenger card, which is the representative for the deck. All right, this is the back of the deck. So there will be, I'm going to say there will be incoming information. Certainly Jupiter and Mars being in Gemini, and then the moon being in Aquarius, the south node in Libra, there's a lot of air energy happening. Information is incoming as part of this energy wave. Below this card, we have self-love. Oh, and also I'm just seeing now, breaking free and the leader. Oh, and of course, and balance. The bottom of the deck is the destiny of one. And I sort of, what popped into my head when I saw this card was the destiny of one is the destiny of all. And I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think part of what it means is that each of us has a lot more power to affect the whole, you know, the kind of general direction of things than maybe we think. There's also this sense with the spider of having kind of having your finger on the pulse, sort of a mixed metaphor. The spider being in the web and being able to feel the vibrations of the web, the ability to feel minute changes, feeling the shift in the force. Ace of Discs. New, the new beginning. And with Uranus in Taurus, the new beginning of some physical aspect of things. And right below it, we have the Ace of Wands. So that is two aces, two strong aces. And with that Sun and Mercury and Vesta all together in Leo, that is strong inspiration. And then below that, we have love, which is also a word that I would associate with Leo. And with the energy of full moons in general. And then we have the challenges. So first we have this Eight of Cups with indolence. And there can be a sense when we are overwhelmed of just wanting to crawl under the covers and do nothing. Just wait until it all passes by. To be indolent. But there is also, with the Seven of Wands and Valor, the call to courage, the call to come out from under the covers. the call to stand upright in the wave. You know, this is the card that comes before the Eight of Wands, which is that rapid incoming energy. And then, of course, because it needed to show up, the Tower. And this particular Tower, which, you know, is kind of less about things falling apart and more about just this incoming power. The rise, the intensity of it. And then the Eight of Swords with interference. So there is, right, there's going to be a lot of stuff. There's just going to be a lot of stuff. There's going to be news and information and a lot of things that don't actually have anything to do with you or that can interfere with your ability to really respond to, surf these energies. If you are a citizen of the US, you may be aware that the Democratic National Convention starts on Monday, on the 19th. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have even the slightest clue about what might happen, what might be revealed, what might be announced, I have no idea. But it's going to be news. So another challenge for us is to be really discerning so that we're not allowing this interference, stuff that is not for us, that we can't respond to in any way that is useful. How do we, you know, discern what is ours, what is not? This may be a week. If you've been considering going on a social media and or news fast, this is probably a really good week to do it. In fact, maybe starting today and going through the end of August, perhaps. And you won't be, you know, it won't eliminate everything, of course, because people will talk to you and they'll send you things, probably. Have you seen this? But if you don't go looking for it, the interference factor will be lower. Then we have the Horse. And this particular horse says, accepting help from another, delegating authority. And I want to say that this kind of is that, right? Delegating things that you don't need to do to other people. You know, maybe paying somebody to do something if you have that option, you know, getting somebody to deliver your groceries or to do some chore for you, to clear something out, saying no to something at work. If you're somebody who, you know, often accepts extra work, saying no to the extra work. The card below it is the Eagle, which says spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realm. And this feels, again, like more incoming information. The bottom of the deck has trust, naturally, and as if that was not enough, the first card in the row is letting go. The more you can free yourself up, I would say for the whole rest of August, if you're watching this when I post it, and if you're not, if you're watching this at some point in the future, for the next 2 weeks, just free yourself up. from as much as possible so that you have more energy, more time, more sleep to be able to respond, right? This is this deep self-respect and self-love. That you have the respect for yourself, that you take care of yourself during this high energy period. And then we have the Merlin as well, interestingly, as the water fairy. And this, I want to say, is more of that feeling. You know, the Merlin here is in his tower, in his study, in his space. Taking the time to himself, to do his practice, to do his study, to do his work. And then the water fairy, who says feelings and emotions. Merlin says alchemy, justice, balance. So taking care of your mind. If you take care of your mind, I think, you know, your emotions will follow. Right? It really starts with thoughts. Our thoughts can really get our emotions going. So can, you know, hearing stuff. Saturating yourself in news can really mess with your emotions. So taking the time, giving yourself space, paying attention to what you think about, to how you're feeling. Ace of Pentacles again. Right below that, we have the Eight of Wands showing up. And this, right, this Ace of Pentacles feels like that stability. Below the Eight of Wands is the Nine of Pentacles and also the Emperor with power. So, you know, this little tree looks very stable, well grounded into the earth, right? When this Eight of Wands energy arrives, this little tree will be fine. Because the little tree is taking care of itself. The bottom of the deck is the Sun with Zoya, the dawn, goddesses of the dawn. Clarity, the new day, new information, new vision. And with this Jupiter, especially the Jupiter-Saturn, maybe a new belief system, a new set of principles going forward. We have the Six of Swords, the mental journey from what was to the Fool with beginnings. And not just beginnings, but also contemplation. This is the Hermit card in this deck. And Chang-O is a goddess of the moon. So contemplation, not just of the mind, but also of the feelings, of the emotions, and a nod to this moon. And then transformation. And then we have listen, which feels, also like an overarching theme, right? Because we have this messenger and this warning against interference, particularly in the mental realm with swords, right? To listen to the inner voice, to the small, still voice within. To your connection with source and your own guides, your own fellowship. Because there is below this the rough patch. And then at the bottom of the deck, there's this Edelweiss card with, this often feels a little hermity to me because she has this lantern that she's carrying around. But rather than the star kind of being her guide, it's actually the moon. So this emotion heart-based guidance, this listening to the moon. Because there's going to be a rough patch. There's going to be this period when the energy is very intense. And it can be really easy, I say that from experience, to slip back into, shadowy responses and behaviors and ideas. So then we have contemplation. And also here with the maiden, right, more of this following the moon and following your moon. And then perhaps really importantly, I was a different person then, right? Like, allow the change. Embrace the change. Embrace who you are now. And then there's Once Upon a Time. Writing your story. Right? That's a very Jupiter in Gemini thing. And with that Saturn-Venus connection, with Venus in Virgo, right, which is very Mercury. I mean, all of them eventually are kind of come back to Mercury, which comes back to the sun. Right? Venus is in Virgo, Jupiter in Gemini. They both have Mercury as a guide. Saturn in Pisces, that moves to Jupiter in Gemini, and that moves to Mercury. And then Mercury is in Leo with the sun. So this personal expression, the personal light, with Venus, what you value, how you want to be of service, what particularly is important to you with Virgo. And then with Vesta in the mix, what it is that you are devoted to, what you stand for, what you want to keep alight in yourself and in society. What light, what fires do you want to nurture, to feed, to keep burning? Right? What story do you want to tell? What story do you want for the world moving forward? That's the focus. That's the place to hold, not whatever this interference is. And that hermit energy can really help with that. Formal advice, because we've had a bunch already. We have the Six of Swords. So, right, allowing the change to happen. Allowing your mind to move on. And with the Ten of Swords at the bottom, right? Allowing that energy that's coming to move through you. Don't try to block it, resist it, battle it. It's too big. Battling aspects, transits. I actually saw the title of a video that said, brace yourself for this week. And I want to say, no, don't brace yourself, right? Don't see it as something that's going to like bowl you over and you have to hold on. Know that it is possible for you to channel the energy, for it to pass through you, and for you to use it. Right? The Merlin. And also, actually, I want to say the Fool. Right? This transformation energy. The Dawn. Right? All of these characters have the power to channel these energies. And underneath the Six of Swords, we have the King of Pentacles, right? He's kind of this tree, inner stability. And below that, actually, the Five of Wands, the fabulous chaotic energy of the quantum space. And then I just see now the Hermit. Right? That personal vision. Keeping your own counsel. So we have the Nine of Cups. What do you want? That's the real thing. I mean, actually, this whole advice section is about what is it that you want? And all the wants. I mean, that might not be a bad practice. Writing it all down. Everything. Everything, everything. If you want world peace, if you want a pony, if you want, a new house, if you want to be of greater service, if you want, people to feel better, everything, 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 everything that you want. What is it that you want? Be really clear on that. Right? We also have Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. The energy of desire. Of inspiration. Of youth. Of energy. Of fire. And then the Two of Swords, choices. So what is it that you want? Be really clear. Because of all the incoming energy, you want to know, what do you want to hang on to? What do you want to let go? Where do you want to put your focus, your energy, when there's so much that might be showing up in your environment? And you do that by knowing what you want and by having the deep self-respect to acknowledge what you want, to not censor yourself when you make this list. You don't have to show it to anybody. But you want to make this list for yourself so that you know, right? What are the things that really ring your bell? What are the things that you want to write into the new story? I think there is enormous possibility for us. for things to begin shifting in ways that we cannot even imagine. And I would say don't get caught up kind of in the how. Let the how take care of itself a little bit more, unless there's some really attractive thing about the how for you, that there's desires even within that you want to explore. But you may not even know the how. There may be, magic. There may be quantum waves collapsing in ways that you couldn't possibly anticipate from your human perspective. So, essentially, for these next couple of weeks at least, take care of yourself. Keep yourself as clear as you can. Let as much go as you can. Be aware that this energy is coming. And you want to respond rather than reacting or resisting. I wish you all the very, very, very best. And I will see you next time. So long.